In this video, we are going to start creating the buttons for our controller, and I think we are going to have a lot of fun during the process. So the first thing we need to do is to create a separate layer for our buttons. So I'm simply going to alt-click on this Create New Layer icon right here, so I can enter the name, which is going to be Buttons, just like so. And I think that I'm going to turn the visibility of the base layer off, just like so. And if we take a look at the original, we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 ellipses in total right here. However, when we go to the outline mode, we can see that there is just one circle, one ellipse right here. So how can we do that? Okay, so back on the buttons layer right here, we can start creating the ellipses. So I'm going to initialize the ellipse tool by pressing the L key on my keyboard. And now I'm simply going to click and hold down the Shift key to create an ellipse that is going to look something like that. Now this ellipse is going to be my shading, so it's going to be, well, it has to be the darkest. So I'm simply going to press this swatch right here, this darkest swatch right here. And now I'm going to move to the appearance panel, and I'm going to create all the other ellipses only using the appearance panel. I am not going to touch the ellipse tool ever again. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to duplicate this fill by dragging it onto this new icon right here. Okay, but color is one thing. What about the size? Well, in order to make this ellipse smaller, we are not going to use the scale tool. We are going to go to this FX symbol down here. And from here, we're going to choose Distort and Transform, and then we're going to choose Transform. I'm going to make sure that the preview the box is checked, and I'm going to make it smaller. Let's see, 95, maybe even smaller, 92, like so. And as you can see, we are making this this ellipse, this fill, we are making it smaller so we can see the underlying ellipse right here. And I'm just gonna press OK, just like so. And as you can see in the appearance panel, we can see our transformation right here, and it's a dynamic effect. We can, if we want to, you can press it just like so. Again, I'm going to hit the preview, and maybe we can make it well, it's bigger to 94%, or we can make it smaller if we wish so. So I'm going to hit OK. So now I'm going to repeat the process with this newly created fill. I'm going to make sure that it's selected. And again, I'm going to drag it onto this icon right here next to the trash icon and create, well, actually duplicate this fill. And again, it retains all the attributes of this fill that we just created. So cloning it gave us not just the fill, well, the fill color, but also the transformation. So so this new fill is exactly the same size as the underlying fill. Let's make it darker, this darker color, and let's make it smaller again. Let's see, 90%, and let's hit preview, just like so. As you can see, we are creating this ring right here, but maybe let's make it even smaller, 985. This should be fine. Let's leave it like that, and let's hit OK. So right now we got 3 ellipses in total, but in the original we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have still, well, we still have 2 more to go. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drag this fill to duplicate it down here, and I'm going to make it lighter. I'm going to give it maybe this fill color, and I'm going to make it significantly smaller right now. Let's see, 75%. Let's hit preview. I think we are going to have to make it even smaller than that, 70%. Maybe even just a bit smaller. Of course, we can adjust it later. So let's now stick with 68%. So now we got 4 ellipses in total. However, when we take a look at the original, we can see that one of these ellipses is, well, looks a bit jagged, looks a bit zigzagged to create this kind of a texture onto our button. And this is something that we are going to do not with the fill of an ellipse, but we are going to do with the stroke of the ellipse, the stroke that has been inactive so far. But since this is going to be a completely different technique, I think that we should do it in a separate video and focus just on that. Just as a repetition, remember that when you are creating these ellipses using the appearance panel, all you need to do is to create an ellipse, just like so. And of course, notice that it retained all the previous appearance attributes from the previous ellipse. Let me just reduce it to the default appearance, and as you can see, we got the fill, and we can simply duplicate it if we want. We can change its color, and of course, we can just by pressing this FX key, go into the distort and transform option. We can simply make it 80 by 80, make it smaller, and as you can see right now, this ellipse is smaller. And remember that every time you are duplicating a certain, not just the fill, but also the stroke in the appearance panel, you are going to duplicate all its appearance attributes. So not just the fill color, but also the effects. So as I said before, to create this texture around our button, we need to play around with the stroke and some effects that we can apply to our stroke. But this is something we are going to do in the next video.